Today on Breaking to see if I can fix it, I'm cutting my steering rack in half because I want to see how well a car drives on my hopes and dreams. Also, because I can. Now the goal here is pretty simple. I just want this car to steer like normal again. In fact, the two half racks that we have here, spoiler alert, were decrepit and leaky even prior to this video, which is, makes for some pretty good synergy in this. And you can see me learn this fact when I pulled it into the garage because of a leak, popped the boot off, and turned the floor into a toxic water park. And because the guns are still a work in progress, the lack of power steering was also not appreciated. Ultimately, if I can get this car steering like normal again, it opens the idea to a whole bunch of new content ideas and marks one step towards restoring a little piece of car history back onto the roads. And I just want to cut a steering rack in half and see what it's like to drive on. I don't know, that's enough room though. First step in doing that was to get the car onto the jacks. Now I was actually really surprised. This Volvo was like practically designed for this video. The amount of room in here is enormous, like a whole 4 inches. And as we know, that's a lot. I counted, literally I could fit almost every single embarrassing memory that I cringe at 2 a.m. in here. Simply fantastic, baby. I don't have enough room to turn.
Oh lordy.
Yeah, we got the power of Bosch, baby. Actually, on second thought, let's just keep driving on this. I think that's fine. Dude, do you see that? That's cutting way quicker than I thought.
You got a little, it's like, what, a 1/4 inch in, it looks like?
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. This video was once again sponsored. This video is once again funded by Fix. They make this Bluetooth scanner which you plug into your OBD port, which then will read the codes off of your car. For instance, if your car's misfiring or maybe you cut your steering rack in half, you can check your phone and see what's wrong with it without having to go to like an AutoZone or something like that. If you want to support the content, it's $20. You can learn more at the link in my bio. Take the two halves, right? I want my $10 core charge. We weld them together, we grind the weld down flat, and then we just spray something that makes the metal rust so they can't see the weld mark, except that like the actual rack and pinion on the Which brings us to I've internalized the monologue now. Okay. I'm ready. Give it some lubrication there. It's like not moving now. But then tragedy struck. My worst fear. A regular metal cutting bit does not have what it takes to cut through a steering rack. It's just simply too thick and hard. So we had to go to Home Depot and get a carbide version. If this didn't work, my plan would be foiled. Nothing would shine with the same luster ever again. So this supposedly can cut thicker metal. Straight into the door.
Cut the mirror off.
We were worried though that we were gonna dull the blade on the mirror and really didn't want to go back out again, so we decided to just do our job. Keep in mind, this took its time getting cut in half. Yeah, this blade is the one. It's f***ing doing it.
Is that through?
Yeah. That's clean ass through. Woohoo! Should we turn the steering wheel now or should we put it on the ground and then turn it? What's it doing?
This side is doing nothing. Yeah. Oh dude, they're both like this right now. Oh, that's awesome.
That was way less messy than I thought that it was going to be.
It helps that the steering rack was already just clapped. I
Yes.
think that would have been like a water fountain. If it had
Oh
stuff in
yeah.
it.
How are we gonna get it back in the garage if we... Uh-oh. Oh Lord. It like
Straight again.
Oh, we're straight?
Yeah,
No,
I think.
good. Oh, we're gonna hit the garage. Look, that's totally manageable. Look, it's driving like a normal car now. Except for like the obvious misfiring.
Well, and the horrible
What?
clatter from the engine bay.
It smells like so many burning things. Oh, it's
Atrocious.
smoking from in there.
Stop the car. Cut the car. Cut the car.
a smoking battery terminal for some reason.
You still want your shot on this, Ian? I mean, what's the worst that happens is it catches on fire and we see if the fire extinguisher works. Make this a tomorrow morning thing.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Okay.
One
All right.
shot.
So will a car move forward with a cut-in-half steering rack? Yes. Will it do so well? No. In fact, we were kind of worried that we would debead a tire because it was pulling on the wheel so hard and these tires are awful. But can I fix it? I have no clue. So it's the next day. We've cleaned up the battery terminals a little bit. Hopefully they don't catch on fire this time. And now we're just gonna pull it back onto the jacks and see what damage we've done. So right off the bat, this is what the new steering rack looks like. You can see it connects to the car here, 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 here. Basically in these three categories. Our job today should be pretty simple, is to get to these connections and do what you wish you could do on that night that you got a little bit too drunk. Unscrew them. So the first thing that I think needs to happen is the air box needs to be removed, which is what I'm doing right now because there's a linkage between the steering rack and the steering wheel that needs to get undone so that the rack can eventually come out. Oh, look at that air filter. So I don't know if I've introduced my friend Ian here before, but he's helping me out.
I immediately dropped something down.
Oh, did you really?
We discovered that this car has a turbo. Ah, it's so gross.
Oh, that's way easier.
Look at him go. Where are you getting it? Never mind. I'm around.
So now that we've cut my steering rack in half, we can move on to the bolts that connect the subframe to the engine. Unfortunately, there's a lot that has to get removed in order to do that. A lot of layers, you know, like if your Roku remote was inside of an onion and Gilmore Girls was playing. Luckily though, I'm not so worried because on my 11th birthday, I wish to be happy. Hasn't happened yet, so that means that there's some pent up luck in the bank. Should be a breeze.
Whatever that.
While we're in here, we're actually gonna replace some of these engine mounts anyway. They're in pretty bad shape, so might as well. Oh, there we go. We're out. Tie rod ends, be no more. Little ray of hope for this car, little bonus loot. The tie rod ends, totally not in bad shape. That's wonderful, because the CV joint absolutely is.
Oh, I mean, it's not shot, but.
Okay, is this the other one? Engage safety squints. No, it's just spinning. Oh, it's a little bit of an update. We've identified 3 different problems. Someone else who's very incompetent has been here because this steering rack is completely loose. There's no bolt in the rear engine mount. That's another odd choice.
You know, I just realized this too. We don't really gotta finagle this old one out because it's just too heavy.
But then finally, moment of truth, baby, it came out. Well, half of it. The other half required dropping the subframe to make room, like I said before, which is surprisingly easy. In fact, this car seems to predate manufacturer bullshit because everything was fairly simple. I love how the steering rack just kind of bounces around. Here you can see me getting the lines off and then finally popping off the joint that I showed you before, which was corroded to hell, but we finally got it off with a torch and some good old PB.
Hey, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, other half? That was almost a cakewalk, yes.
Almost.
Let's take a look at this. Hasta la vista.
Baby.
Yeah! We actually need some stuff off that. Okay, that's one of them. Where'd the other one go? I threw it like 5 feet. Where did it go? Ow. Oh, that's really thorny. Holy shit. Now, spoiler alert, this car isn't exactly in the best of shape, and as a result, there's been a lot of leaking oil that's dried into a crusty film of despair. Removing those delicious chunks of Jurassic licorice was totally optional, but I felt compelled to do so that the next time I'm down here, I don't have to take as many showers. Figured I'd wipe down the subframe too, because it's pretty gnarly gross. And just like that, we were finally ready to put the new rack into place. What you're watching right now is when I unboxed it. It's a rebuilt version because it was the cheapest one I could find, about $180 on eBay, including tour charge, which I don't think I'm gonna be getting back for some reason, but I did have a pretty great idea on how I could get it back. To get this ready, we need to reinstall these brackets and bolts to it. We're finally ready for the new rack on day 3 of what we thought was gonna take 1 day.
Put those lines.
I don't need your help, Ian.
Oh, okay.
I know, I've done this at least 1,000 times before. Empires have risen and fallen in the time it's taken me to replace steering. Wait, no, that's the opposite. No,
those go up and around it, so you should. You gotta fish it under those.
Back it out.
Yeah, it goes under that little hoop in it.
Well, that was a test. Good.
Oh, you're just testing me.
Yeah.
Okay. You're almost to the holes on this side.
That's what she said.
I think so too. But...
Oh!
Yeah.
Woo! That's right, baby, we were in, except for the steering lines and the same devilish connection, which took another 3 hours and multiple raising and lowerings of the subframe to get right. This isn't sketchy at all. I would like to say that from my perspective, I thought that these were lined up. They were in fact not. So next up is putting these brackets back on. I then tightened back up the subframe. This was just as much of a cakewalk as the first time, and especially because you're watching like the 4th time we did it. Here you can see my superior athletic fetal position. It helps make the bolt docile, so it's thus easier to torque to factory Volvo spec. That's good enough. I read it in the Bentley manual. Reconnected the wheels and filled it for the first time. A moment of truth on whether or not it pours out the bottom. Oh yeah, we're in business. Let me go move the wheel all the way to the left and to the right. Clean work makes the dream work. Watch as my ass cheeks pucker in anticipation of some line I didn't tighten correctly bursting as I turn the car on for the first time. That sounds better.
It does.
That straight up sounds better. I consider that a job well done because it did not spray out the bottom. Yes!
It only took what, 72 hours more?
72 and a half, Ian.
Oh, okay.
To you.
Okay, can you...
Look at that, we had to tighten the wheels, they're not torqued.
Like a diesel tractor.
Does it? Yeah, but that steering looks normal.
It's good. It might need a little more fluid, but...
I'm going into E mode.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You know, bit by bit, this 1998 Volvo is coming back to life and regaining its soul, which is really cool to see on a car that otherwise would have been just headed straight for the claw machine. And to get to, you know, mess around, have fun, and learn along the way is what I live for.
What did you think?
You know, the steering is literally like, car just steers like any other normal car. For a car that you could just destroy, that we are destroying, pretty good. And that concludes the video. I've actually hired Ian here. He's right behind me. So expect that once I get through the cesspool that is payroll, the frequency of videos here should dramatically increase. Very excited for that. Thank you for watching. See you next week.